Imagine this. You've just come back from holiday, you're tired, jet-lagged, standing at your front door with your luggage. You put your key in the lock, and it doesn't turn. You try again, still nothing. And then that slow, sinking realization starts to set in. The locks have been changed. No call, no message, no notice on the door, no court order, just a home you can't get into. This isn't a worst-case scenario. This happened. This is a real-life case, and it's an unlawful eviction. While a tenant was away on holiday, their landlord took matters into their own hands. The legal process wasn't followed. There was no possession order, no bailiffs, no lawful authority to remove her from the property. The tenant's belongings had been removed. Some were never returned, including personal items like family photographs. Things you don't insure because you can't replace them. When the case reached court, the focus wasn't just on the act itself, but the way it was carried out, the loss of access, the distress caused, the complete disregard for the legal process. The outcome? £35,860 in damages. But unlawful eviction goes far beyond compensation. It is devastating. Being shut out of your home without warning affects more than just where you live. It affects your mental and physical well-being. Beyond the immediate shock, eviction destabilizes every part of daily life. Work becomes harder to sustain, routines break down, and for families, even keeping children in school or maintaining normality becomes a challenge. In this case, the tenant was effectively made street homeless, standing outside their own home with no immediate way back in. And it's not an isolated case. In another case, a landlord forced a tenant out without following the legal process. No court order, no bailiffs, just direct action. The court awarded £53,000 in damages, not just for the eviction itself, but for the way it was carried out, including damage to the tenant's belongings. That level of compensation reflects how seriously the courts treat unlawful eviction. Because unlawful eviction is not just a civil issue, it is a criminal offence. Tenants in England are protected under the Protection from Eviction Act 1977. That protection makes it clear a landlord cannot deprive a residential occupier of their home without following due process. Changing locks, removing belongings, or denying access, all of these can amount to a criminal act, and enforcement is not theoretical. Local authorities now have increased investigative and enforcement powers. They can investigate allegations of unlawful eviction, prosecute landlords and others responsible, issue financial penalties or pursue criminal convictions. In serious cases, landlords can face unlimited fines, and in some circumstances, even imprisonment. But the legal route is also changing. With the abolition of Section 21 on the 1st of May, landlords can no longer rely on the no-fault route to regain possession. Instead, the process shifts fully to Section 8. That means a valid legal ground must be established. A Section 8 notice must be served. Evidence must support the claim. And a court order must be obtained before possession is granted. Only then can enforcement take place, through certified bailiffs. There is no shortcut, and that's what makes unlawful eviction so significant. Because it bypasses the very system designed to ensure fairness, scrutiny, and accountability. But not every case is as obvious. In a shared house, a landlord believed they had the right to remove a tenant due to changes in occupancy. From their perspective, they thought they were acting within their rights. The court disagreed. The eviction was ruled unlawful, and the tenant was allowed back into the property. It's a reminder that even where there is confusion, even where intentions aren't malicious, the legal process still has to be followed. And sometimes the person carrying out the eviction isn't even the landlord. In one case, a tenant who had been subletting a property unlawfully evicted 2 other occupants. They were prosecuted and fined over £14,000 because unlawful eviction isn't about ownership. It's about control and the misuse of it. It is about what happens when someone is forced out of their home without warning, without process, and without the legal protections that are meant to be there. Then there are cases where the timing raises deeper concerns. A landlord was prosecuted after evicting a tenant while they were in hospital following a fall. Moments like that go beyond legality. They raise questions about vulnerability, responsibility, and the human impact of decisions made behind closed doors. Across England, around 11 million people live in the private rented sector. Most tenancies end without reaching this point. Most landlords follow the rules, but when those rules are ignored, the consequences are immediate. Losing access to your home without warning doesn't just create inconvenience, it creates instability. It affects routine, security, and a person's sense of control. Because when the legal process is followed, it is structured, evidence-based, and overseen by the courts. But when it's ignored, it happens in a moment. A key that no longer works. A door that won't open. A home you can't enter. And for the person on the other side of that door, it's not just a lock. It's the moment they're shut out of their home, their belongings, and any sense of certainty about what comes next. Thank you for watching Tenancy Talk. For more in-depth case reviews and analysis of housing issues affecting landlords and tenants, like, comment, and subscribe.